Quiz covers days 1 through 4. Days 1 through 4. Pretty big quiz, 38 points. I just say know all the properties. There's only 5 of them. All right, this is only on a parallelogram and on day 1, which I'll get to in a second. But just know your properties, please. And I'm giving you a warning right now, too. I'm giving you the warning. I could have just given you the quiz Monday and said, oh, they'll figure out on their own. But I'm warning you right now. You're going to have to factor on one of the algebra problems. And there's factoring in the review that we're going to do. All right, so I'm just not going to leave you cold. Hey, there's factoring. Good luck. See you Monday. All right, we'll review some factoring problems here in a second. There's going to be 2 proofs. One proof given a parallelogram. The other proof is prove a parallelogram, just like we've done the last 2 days. All right, nothing different. Prove and given. And then, again, I've been telling you guys this day after day. Don't forget day 1. All right, I know we've done a lot of things with parallelograms, but don't forget day 1 with the interior and exterior angles of a polygon. All right, do not forget those. So there's your quiz on Monday. Okay, there's your quiz. So what I want to go over 2 things real quick. Can you go to the first problem in the review, day 5? I'm not going to do this with you because I want you to do it on your own or with other people in the class, but I don't just want you to realize something, because I know this happens every year with students, is there are not 2 diagonals in this diagram. There's only 1. A lot of students want to say, oh, diagonals bisect each other. That's a problem, because FE is not a diagonal. A diagonal must connect vertices. All right, a diagonal must connect vertices. And when I throw something like FE in a diagram, we automatically think diagonals get bisected. Nothing's getting bisected here. All right, you need both diagonals, and I only have 1. All right, so everyone good? Diagonals have to connect vertices, not sides. They connect the vertices. All right, so speaking of a factoring problem, why don't we try one out? Let's head over to number, I think it's 10. All right, solve these by factoring. And we're going to do 10b. All right, we're going to do 10b. Before we solve, please don't get ahead. Before we solve, why would you set up something like this to solve? First of all, why would you set this up? And I just want to show you where it might come from on Monday. Say I have a parallelogram. You're told it's a parallelogram, and this side is x squared minus 6x, and this side is 16. Do we see why we would set it up like that? Now, opposite sides congruent. So I would set that equation up. Or you might have to use it like this. Forget the sides. How about I draw in the diagonals for you? We know they bisect each other. I label this diagonal as 16 and this diagonal as x squared minus 6x. Now we see why we need to set it up like that. Okay, so I just want to show you, why would I need to set this up? All right, now if you set it up, now how do I solve it? Well, we're not solving anything that's equal to 16, especially when I have to factor. We're not factoring anything until it's equal to 0. Yep, so we're going to get the 16 over by subtracting. I'll take this nice and slow. X squared minus 6x minus 16 equal to 0. Now you can start thinking about factoring. And this is the only type of factoring you're going to be responsible for. 2 numbers that do this and do this. So let's start. 2 numbers that multiply to, which one up here? The C value, the last value, if it's written in order. So 2 numbers that multiply, bless you, to negative 16, but at the same time, add to negative 6. So that's what you're looking for right now. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 16 and add to negative 6. So as you compute those numbers in your mind, 1 and 16, 4 and 4, I don't think are going to work. There's one I'm missing on purpose. Signs up? Negative 8 and positive 2. These are just your factors, not your answers, though. These are just your factors. You need to take that extra step and say, hey, x minus 8 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. Take that extra step. And now I have 2 answers, x equals 8, and x equals negative 2. Yeah,
In like a test, do you want to see us take that step, or can we just skip that and just say x equals 8?
Skip this step?
Yeah.
Yes, you can do that, but I do not, and I was going to say this at the end, I do not want, I have to see this because I know we could just go to the solver and put it in and it'll give us an 8, -2. I want to see this, please. I want to see moving it over, setting equal to 0. No, I don't need to see this step. I know you guys just take the opposite. Okay. Now, that's the answer to this. Those are the answers to this problem. All right, in your review. But Monday, you're probably going to have a diagram attached to the problem. And one answer may not be okay. What do I mean by one answer might not be okay? Zeev? I might plug it in and get a negative side length. Okay, so say I provided this diagram to you guys on Monday. I go to my calculator now, all right, and I plug in both answers to x squared minus 6x to see what type of side it is, positive or negative. So I have it up here. The only thing I'm going to stress to you guys, when you plug it in, make sure you plug in parentheses for when you plug in for x. So I'm going to plug it into x squared minus 6x, and I'm going to plug in -2 for x. I'm going to substitute in -2 for x. So when I do that, I'm going to put parenthesis -2 squared minus 6 parenthesis -2. So every time I substitute in for x, I'm putting in parentheses. Okay, I get a positive 16. All right, so I can accept that answer. But if that answer came out to be a negative, we're rejecting it. Okay, we are rejecting it. And then I think it's okay if you plug in 8 too. All right, so just watch out. Just watch out for that on Monday for me. Please make sure you don't get a negative segment length. All good? All right, now look, I totally realize, we did one and all there is one more remaining. And some of you guys are like, I'm still not comfortable ready to factor on Monday. I just want to let you know up on Classroom, because I always got your back. Up on Classroom, under our Unit 6, there's Solve by Factoring Extra Practice. If you decide to try those out, please only do the circled ones. Okay, those are the only types that we're going to be going over. So just try out the circled ones. Don't try out anything else because you're going to get real confused. So just try out the circled ones, and the answers are on the next page. Okay, if you need some more practice factoring, I get it. All right, so you guys are now working with each other, moving around if you want. The review, just so you know where the review's all in your packet. No Chromebooks are needed, none. It's all in your packet. The answer key is on the following pages after the review. Okay, that's where the answer key is. If you finish everything in the packet, can everybody go to page 22? Go to page 22 for me before you start. If you finish everything in the packet, there are textbook questions to try that are listed on page 22, and those answers are part of the answer key as well. So no Chromebooks needed. Don't need to go on Google Classroom unless you're doing factoring practice. All right, it's on you guys. If you need colored pencils from me, let me know.